today. It's 2020, which means it's time for Pong to come back as a role-playing game. This is CheckPoint. Welcome to CheckPoint, where we're putting the home in home entertainment.
Yeah, nothing to see here. Everything is fine. I bet you never expected to hear from Pong again. 'Cause sure, you had a great time at the bar with Pong, plugging it full of quarters while you got drunker and drunker on Singapore slings, talking shit about Breakout and eventually taking it back to your place, giving it a taste of your RF modulator and smashing square balls all night long. But by the next morning, you'd realize that Pong was a great one-night stand. It just didn't have any real staying power. So you grabbed a copy of Final Fantasy 10 years later and then finally realized that was all you ever needed in a game. Well, Atari figured that shit out too, and now Pong is an RPG. You play as a barely anthropomorphized Pong paddle, dressed up in cute outfits, wandering through a playscape, finding treasure and encountering enemies whom you fight by playing chess. No, I'm kidding. You play Pong, obviously. The enemies appear to have different effects on the ball too, like giving it shotgun multi-ball or high-gravity bounce effects. And the dungeons are even based on old Atari games that none of us have thought of or remember. The takeaway here is that Pong's had a glow up, got a creative writing diploma, and is knocking on your door looking for another shot. So dare you enter its dungeon?
You want to win $1 million from Epic Games, but you huff-ass at Fortnite? All you gotta do is prove that someone's out to get them. See, Epic owns a video chat app called House Party, which it acquired in June 2019. Surprising no one, House Party has seen a big uptick in use since Gestures Broadly at State of World. But surprising Epic, House Party also saw a big uptick of rumors that it was unsecure, that accounts were easily compromised, that they'd sold data to third parties, and that Chinese megacorporation Tencent was using it for surveillance. For Epic's part, they say the app is secure, it has not been compromised, they don't sell data to third parties, Tencent doesn't hold a controlling stake in Epic and doesn't get to control what their apps do, and most importantly, Epic has no idea where these rumors started, from who, or why, to the extent that they believe it is a coordinated smear campaign by a commercial competitor and are offering $1 million bounty for proof. Again, probably easier than learning how to play professional level Fortnite.
Did you know that Nintendo isn't the only company with a hotly anticipated game that's ready to take the edge off being at home and feeling awful because you're not being as productive as usual, even though that's a completely reasonable thing that's happening to you right now? Anyhow, Square Enix really wanted to make sure that people could get their hands on the Final Fantasy VII Remake on time, so they made the decision to ship the game to Europe and Australia early to hopefully arrive in line with the worldwide April 10th release date. So of course, it arrived early, and people in Australia are already streaming it and making YouTube videos of it, which has prompted Square to ask people lucky enough to have an early crack at the remake to please keep it offline so as to avoid spoilers. Hold on a minute here. The game is 23 years old, and I get there are plenty of folks who haven't played it. Graham is streaming it on our Twitch channel right now, and even he's discovering new stuff, but what? Spoilers, Square? What did you change? Does Aerith live this time? Can we put Barrett in a dress? Do Red 13 and Vincent finally kiss? Because I've got some fan art I commissioned in high school, and
GameStop has had a weird couple of weeks, but then I guess we all have. GameStop's weird time really got rolling in the lead up to March 20th, and the same-day release of Doom Eternal, which I understand to be a real banger of a first-person shooter and well worth your money, and Animal Crossing, which is the wholesome, soothing balm to what has become our lives. Basically, GameStop knew they had a big payday coming their way and weren't going to let something like advice from medical professionals or care for their employees' well-being stop them from staying open. Famously, they even determined that, as purveyors of entertainment, that they were an essential service, and instructed store managers that in the event that police showed up and tried to close their stores for public safety, managers should present the authorities with a copy of the GameStop internal memo that basically said, no, it's fine, we've decided we can stay open, thank you, Mr. the Police. And now that March 20th is over and they've actually closed stores for real, they're also permanently closing over 300 of their almost 6,000 stores to Dedensify. A few weeks ago, we reported that former Nintendo of America president Reggie Fils-Aimé would be joining GameStop's board to help whip the company into shape, even tweeting, quote, "The gaming industry needs a healthy and vibrant GameStop." Now, Reggie doesn't actually start until later in April, and we assume it's going to look like that gif from Community with Donald Glover showing up and finding everything is on fire, which for Reggie's sake we hope is immediately followed by the gif of Homer phasing into a hedge.
And a quick PSA to the dozen or so people playing Animal Crossing New Horizons. If you pop 300 balloons, you'll trigger a Nook Miles reward. But if you collect that reward, balloons will stop spawning on your island.
So, don't collect that reward.
Or do, and be satisfied that you'll never again attract the wrath of people for ethical treatment of balloons. Coming up, there's no sports, so ESPN is airing a bunch of NBA players playing NBA 2K. So ESPN, if you're that hard up for entertainment, we're holding a very cutthroat cribbage tournament at my kitchen table tonight at 6. The rights are cheap, just give me a call. Yep, nothing to see here. Everything's fine.